Guess we'll get started in a minute as my other co-hosts come in. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully it's good Sunday and it's been a good week for everyone out there so far. Um, we will get started shortly. I welcome everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far. Um, Please file into the chats. Let me know how you're doing. Um, we will get started shortly. Um, Hold on one moment. Hello. Yes. We'll get started shortly as soon as the hosts file in. In this discussion, I more or less want to have an open dialogue with more of the audience. So hopefully we get more, I guess, interactivity between all of us. And here's some of the thoughts. Um, Many of you who follow my channel, you know a lot of my point of view on a lot of these things as far as the election is concerned, and I'm trying to find what issues that we need to be talking about um, that don't get us, that we're not paying attention to, and we have real concerns out there, like the COVID virus is still something that's very prevalent. People are going back to school. More people are going back to work. So all of these things are in the front of our minds. We have the election going on. Trump is saying something crazy every 5 minutes. And so we do have all of these things to deal with. But I want us to also try to stay, focused on some of the smaller issues within different communities that we might not hear about. We all live in different parts of the country. So for those of you who are in, say Missouri, say New York, say Idaho, wherever, Colorado, Denver, all of these places, we need to hear what's going on in the Black community and those issues also, because just because we have police brutality going on, there are also other things that are going on. There are evictions going on. There are foreclosures. There are tons of things. There are people being thrown out on their homes. People being thrown out of their homes. So there are many things that I feel that because of the larger issues that are at hand right now with the election going on, it's easy for us to lose sight of some of those who are unfortunate and who are not able to get as much attention from the media, or even YouTubers like myself and or other YouTubers. And so I think it's important for us to try to talk about some of those things and stay engaged. And the reason why I bring that up is myself, in working on different stories and delving into issues, I've lost sight on some of those things myself. So, you know, I like for those out there to try to bring us around and who are focused on certain things to always stay engaged on everything that's going on. One of the issues that I wanted to talk about, it's kind of more not a big issue, but just some of the stuff which I've seen online lately, which I feel we need to address. We can have respect for certain politicians and leaders, but we also have to be honest with the truths and realities of things which they did and things which they did not do, or areas where they could have done better. And I feel a lot of times we lose sight in because the person was the first this, or because they did it at this age, or whatever it might be. We get focused in on those things, and because they may have identity which is similar to ours, and we feel that connection, and we feel almost a spiritual victory by watching that person win. Also, we have to also remember that there are many of us who need actual policies and um, policies, laws, statutes, whatever, business loans, whatever it may be, financial help, raises, you might need pension, you might need better insurance, whatever it may be, that are kind of getting left behind. And we have to start being more honest, even to those politicians and celebrities, whoever that we love. Um, One of those people I'm going to talk about directly because um, and this is not an easy subject because I know a lot of people disagree with me because he's very popular, and I'm talking about Barack Obama. Yes, Barack Obama was the first black president, and that is something that our nation can be definitely proud of, and especially as a black man, I'm proud of also. But we can't stop there. It has to be, you know, more than just accepting the first level of, of, I guess, a symbolic win. We have to remember people are still suffering out there. And if somebody is not getting the job done, you have to be honest about it. And when you're not being honest about it and you're trying to only defend those people and you're attacking the people who are pointing it out, what you're doing is you're not really even attacking those people. What you're doing is you're attacking those people who are suffering, who need the help. And you're saying how I feel, my feelings about this person is more than helping this person over here who is suffering under this person. A lot of times, because of the media, how they've divided things up, many people are so comfortable with sitting in their right, their right, and they're left bubbles. Let me get a sip real quick. They're so they're so comfortable sitting in their political camps, and sometimes even when criticism is valid, it's hard for us to accept it when it comes from the other side. I'll give you a perfect example in my own case, in particular, because I was such an avid Barack Obama supporter. And I canvassed, I pushed, I did all those things to try to get Obama elected. Not saying that I alone got Obama elected, but I felt like I tried as hard as I possibly could to anything that I could think of, um, any kind of I guess discussion that I can have with people that would enlighten them about policies or things I felt about his character or the possibility of things which I thought were possible under an Obama administration. And I was completely genuine in heart and sincerity in everything that I believed. Um, and I'm not trying to question Obama's. Uh, I'm not trying to question, his character or say that I was wrong about his character or anything like that. I'm talking about the actual substantive gains for the most impoverished community, the Black community. And if you are supposedly representing the Black community, then I expect for more than us to be content with him just taking a position. And that dovetails into the same issues I have with a lot of the things which I'm seeing right now with Kamala Harris. I want to be optimistic, but unfortunately, what I see with this system and how these people are willing to play ball with all the wrong people, how they surround themselves with people who make terrible decisions over and over, who have massive conflicts of interest. It's hard for me to take that serious. Now, maybe other people can look past those things and say, but I still think, well, I look at results. And if you look at the results, what have happened over, say, let's go back to the end of the civil rights era, back to the 60s and 70s. Yes, we've had probably less discrimination in the job. Yes, we've had probably more people of color on TV. And we speckled in a little bit more Black ownership and Latino ownership and, Muslim ownership. But when you look at the hard numbers, if you look at the economic situation that's going on, when you compare Black wealth to white wealth, that's where the rubber really meets the road, because what you will see is we have stayed flat as everybody else, well, except, Latinos. Latinos have kind of sat about two cents above us. We're at 10 cents on the dollar to the average white family's wealth. And Latinos are at about 12% to, the white average family's wealth. And that's just the average. That's not even talking about the ultra wealthy, billionaires. That's not talking about, the people who own all these corporations and all this crazy stuff. So when you look at that different, I guess that different level, that power dynamic that's going on still there, it affects the communities, because if the cost of living continues to go up and we're not able to maintain Black home ownership, it makes it harder for those young couples to decide that they want to start a family. So that's going to be more apartment living. That's going to be less buying homes. So that's going to be less building of an actual community. And what that leads to is more gentrification and more spreading. And and at some point, it just keeps ticking down, ticking down, ticking down until it becomes pretty much every Black family for themselves. And I advocate for us to go, a different path. And I will try to give some examples of things which I believe that can help us get there. For one, we need to stay more engaged with who the people are surrounding themselves with. We need to start following these backgrounds. We need to say, okay, well, this person works for Raytheon. If they're pushing for us to get more engaged into certain conflicts, does that benefit them financially? And a lot of times, many of these people, nine times out of 10, you will see that they are financially connected. I feel that should be a problem for all of us. And we've grown accustomed to politicians are just corrupt. And well, what can you do? And if you don't look at the problem and try to figure out what's going on, how can you address the problem and get beyond it? If you have an illness in your body and you don't want to go to a doctor and you don't want to figure out what's going on, if it's cancer, if it's, whatever, high cholesterol, whatever it could be that's going on in your body, or maybe it's some kind of mystery illness that nobody's seen before, that's extremely rare. You might want to know these things, and that's how I look at what's going on with our government. Many of us just show up every 4 years and decide, okay, well, who looks good right now? And there's no engagement in what's going on, and it's a disconnect to the rest of our communities across the country. Because if we say that we're the United States, the only way we're really united is if we're actually caring about what's happening to everybody across the board. If you are a team, let's put it on a small scale. If you're a football team, wouldn't you want every player to try to be doing as well as possible? And I feel like in this country, we're not focused on that. Our focus has only been on how can we maintain what we have, and only looking within our only small family circle and friends. You know, that's some of the things which I feel, if we can get out of some of those mindset and start thinking more like a community, more like a village, where I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper, we can start actually fostering a better relationship and environment where there can be more communication with people who you may have the the knowledge, and this person may have the platform. This person may have whichever other connections, the connection of organizing with the people. And if we can start using some of these things, another idea that I have is direct action. For those who don't know what direct action is we come together with our own proposals. We organize. And as we organize, we can push those things at small levels and try to build. And as we build, we can start to, move to other cities, other locations, and move these different bills. And the problem I feel with the approach to a lot of direct action which goes on now is it's too widespread on too many issues. Granted, we all do care about so many things, and we want to fix, this and that, and I get it, and I'm not saying that's wrong. The only thing I'm saying is wrong is our approach. When we're coming with way too many things on the plate, it can make it hard for people to understand a clear message. And all I'm saying is, if you have somebody who's already resistant to hearing what you're saying, the best approach is to come forth with what you want specifically for that issue, and then we can regain and regroup for the next issue, and then bring that issue and go issue by issue. And I feel that's the best way for us to actually move forward with some progress. Because, I mean, I hate to be pessimistic on this note, but a lot of electoral politics on the top levels, I'm just so dismayed at this point, and I feel a little bit of sadness that I just don't believe that they're going to do a lot of the stuff that they even say that they want to do. I mean, if you look at the people who are around them and you go back through history, what you notice through history is it's always the people who are sitting right around the president. Those are the people who are doing all the research. Those are the people who are deciding, okay, well, we can get lithium from this country and we can get oil from this and this corporate. They're the ones making all these decisions. Most presidents are figureheads. They're there to give good speeches. They're there to impress us, make us feel good on the inside with nice stories. But when it comes to the actual running things and legislation, it's the senators, it's the Congress people, it's the advisors, it's the chiefs of staff. These people are the people that you need to know. These are the people who actually are making the decisions on a day to day. And if you're not focusing on these people, You can focus on the press secretary lying and the president saying this and saying that. Most of that stuff is just a smokescreen so that the chiefs of staff, if they want to move troops over from, let's say, this area of Turkey and, or put them up on the borders of Turkey, near Kurdistan in those areas, you're not paying attention to it because you're paying attention to Trump calling some woman the B word or, talking about her face looked weird or something. If we're always focusing on these issues and we're always running off and worried about all that, we're missing a lot of the big picture things. Because what a lot of people are not focused on, they're talking about police brutality and with Biden and Kamala Harris, they'll fix all of these things. The one thing that most people don't, I guess, understand maybe, or I guess I'll just leave it at don't understand. The president and vice president, where they have about 80 to 90% of their power, is outside of the country, dealing with foreign issues. The domestic issues, when we're talking about healthcare and we're talking about Medicare for all and Green New Deal and all these things, this is Congress that does all of these things. This is not the president who is going to lift a finger to do any of it, but sign the pen once it's done. As long as we have people like Mitch McConnell who are still there, it doesn't matter which president you get in there, which you agree with. Those types of people are going to know how to manipulate, water down, cut them at the knees, whatever they have to do to stop that legislation. You're also going to have people like Nancy Pelosi who only care about what her donors care about. And many women are caught up with the fact of, she power and all that. Excuse me, hold on a second. And I'm not saying I'm against women rising up and being powerful and running things. I think it's a wonderful thing. But what we have to understand is just because you're a powerful, successful woman does not mean you're the same powerful, successful woman that she is. And doesn't mean that you both have the same morals and ethics and ways you do things. Many of you who are listening to me, the women in the audience, I believe honestly, if you were put into any of these positions, you would do a just and an honorable job, because I think that the humanity, which is already in most of you, would know the right course, even if you don't understand all the issues. What I question is not her gender. What I question is her morals and her ethics and where her loyalty really lies. And when I notice that donors do this and you jump always, meaning literally most of the legislation that is most popular in this country is stopped because of Nancy Pelosi. And that affects Black and brown communities mostly. I guess my other co-host didn't come in and I turned into a little bit of a rant session, and that was all I really had on my head to talk about this Sunday. Please, inform me of whichever topics that are going on in your local areas. I do want to know about them, and I want to talk about them. And with that said, I guess I will leave it at that, and I will work on some more videos for you all to view. I know lately I haven't put up much because I felt in this season of politics, it's almost kind of been silly season. Most of it has been focusing on, I heard an interview and they were asked, Kamala's asking Obama about Joe Biden's like favorite things to eat and weird stuff like that. I mean, we have 200,000 people who have died from COVID. We have eviction crises that are going on. Winter is going to be coming. We have fires out here in California, which look almost like the apocalypse is coming or something. There's so many things that are going on. When you look over in some of these other countries, You have riots that are going on, protests that are going on. We have, I mean, and I'm not talking about little protests. I'm talking about mass protests that are going on that are 4 times the size of the ones that we have here. And all of this unrest, all around the world that is going on. And our former free leader of the world is talking about Joe Biden liking hoagies and ice creams and loving his aviator shades. I'm sorry, it's just frustrating to think about what to put in the story when so much of what's going on in the news is talking about everything but what we really need to be talking about, which is what's going on with actual people. What about these people who are not going to get an extra stimulus? What about the people who are scared to go to the hospital, who have other issues, but they're scared to go because they're worried they might get COVID? I mean, there's just so many issues that I feel our politicians are not taking serious. And everybody's saying, well, when Kamala and Joe get in there, this will happen, that'll happen. Well, there's elected officials right now in Congress. Right now, there are elected officials. And it's not hard to call their offices. It's not hard to send a letter. You can do that even with COVID. You don't, I mean, that keeps your 6 foot distancing, social distancing, intact and everything. So there's ways to, I guess, get your point across to them. I mean, in this day and age, I don't know how effective it still is. I mean, unless you're able to do it in mass. But there are elected officials right now who could be doing things. And there is no pressure being put on these people. We're just waiting for months down the road for if it's Joe and Kamala, or if it does end up being Trump, that he turns out to not continue to be a monster like he is. I mean, I guess that's kind of where I see it at this point. If we're not going to push these people right now who are elected in the office, and we have some people who, granted, they're not actually in the office yet because they won't be officially sworn in for a couple of months, but we still have plenty of congressmen, senators. We still have local state and local was it state not state but local senate and local Congress. So state senate, state Congress. We still have those people within all 50 states to deal with. You still have councilmen. Depending on which state you are in, you might have aldermen that you can deal with. You might have parish supervisors that you can deal with. You have what is it called? I'm trying to remember. It's a technical name for the person who's in charge of the circuit court system. I mean, you have people like that. You have actual sheriffs, which you can go to, who are over sheriff's departments, which you can flood their office with phone calls, protest them, and try to affect that direct action change at a local level in your own community. We don't have to wait until the election and see which one of them hopefully might do some of the stuff that they pretend to say. Yes, it'll be historic that we will have, first woman. Actually, I think that'll be the first woman vice president ever, and the first woman of color. So I'm not trying to be negative or shoot that down. I mean, that's still an amazing achievement, but we have to be wanting more. And if we want things to actually change in our society, we can't be content with historic milestones. I guess that's roughly been about 30 minutes. I'll leave it there. Uh, for those who are not familiar, I do have another show which I do later on tonight with Niall Elcombe and Alyssa Vieira. It is called The Annihilation Cage. It is on Niall Elcom's YouTube channel. If you have trouble finding it, go on to my page in my playlist, and you will see a couple of episodes there. And it shouldn't be hard for you to click on the channel and be able to find us. If you're on Twitter, make sure to just follow either my Twitter or Niall's or Alyssa's. I'm sure we'll be live streaming it there. Um, and on my other channel, The Political Matrix, we're getting deeper into Illuminati. So for those of you who are interested in the more conspiracy theory type stuff and are interested in on possibilities on things that might be going on, um, then come on over to that. For those who want to stay completely away from the conspiracy theory stuff, I understand. I want to stay in the conventional political lanes. Uh, that's what I'm going to try to stay doing here on this channel. Make sure you come back with us every Sunday, and if it's not everybody, it will be me. I'll try to make sure that it is every Sunday. If I have something that comes up where I don't think that I can film, I will try to give a reschedule and do it on another day. With that said, this has been the Political Matrix with Marcus Cage. You all have a great Sunday, and hopefully you all have a wonderful week.